Hello, you guys. Happy Sunday. What's up? What's up? Hi, Michael. You got in just a minute before I did. Good evening to you. How was everybody's week? How was your Sunday? I was open today, but my customer did not reach back out to me. So, yep, hopefully she will reach out to me tomorrow because I think tomorrow's the deadline for her paperwork. So, I know everyone is looking forward to hearing about my call with the attorney, right? So I'm going to make sure I lead tonight's live with that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about um, the other topics that I have to talk about. Let's just put it that way. I'm going to give it 2 more minutes and then I'm going to get started. All right, guys. We'll wait a little bit for others to come in. If you are here and you are watching me and you can hear me, please let me know in the comments. One, two, three. I don't know why I'm still sleepy. I slept until like noon. Okay, perfect. I'm happy everybody can hear me. It's so funny that I'm sleepy. I think that I'm not getting enough rest. That's what I think. Hi, Denise. That's what it is. I'm always on the go, and I really need to just stop sometimes and just rest, and I don't do that. Because I feel like I should be doing something. You just not doing anything. I'm like, I feel like I should be doing something. I feel like I should be doing something. No, you don't need to do something all the time. Okay, we got 1 minute. Casey, did I say hello to you? If I didn't, hello. All right, I'm glad everybody can hear me. Let's see. We can get some more people to join. If you're seeing me, please say something. Because I hear all the time people say, I was on there. And I'm like, why didn't you say something? I like to know when people are here. I don't want to just be watched and. I know, Michael, I know. So, when I'm done, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Get some rest. I did get some things done today, though. Wash some clothes, put some clothes away, do a little spot cleaning. I like to do a real good clean every 2 weeks, but we did that last week, so this week was just a spot clean. So yes, okay, it's 8:30, so let's get started. So first off, my name is Bergeau. I am the owner of Bealey's Notary Services as well as the Notary Education Group. Every Sunday, I come live on YouTube, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to talk to you guys about notary and business-related topics. We share some tips, and I answer your questions in real time. All right. Hi, Cass, and hi, Stephanie. All right, we got a few people here, and a few of you I recognize from being on here all the time. So thank you guys for joining tonight. If this is your first time watching me, make sure that you click that bell to subscribe because you'd want to be reminded or notified when I do come live. All right. So let's talk about this call. So it wouldn't do it any justice if I didn't explain to you guys what happened before I got the call. So I went to a signing. Okay, it was a closing. And me and the young lady, we were talking, like I always do. You guys know I'm a talker. And we're going through the documents and we're signing documents. And so she says to me, wow, this document has to be notarized. Like sometimes they just have us notarize as anything nowadays. I said, well, you know what? A lot more documents are being requested to be notarized because of, and then she cut me off and was like, because you got to verify the right person is signing. I'm like, well, not just that. We also are making sure that the person understands what they're signing, make sure that they're signing willingly, because we have, in Florida especially, we have a lot of elder abuse and scamming going on where people are forcing elders to sign over their property, access to their accounts. Sometimes they're being asked to sign documents, they don't even know what it is, and that's exactly what it is, giving a person access to their property and accounts. And so she was like, wow, like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. And so I was telling her about um, a story on the news that I saw where a grandson scammed his grandparents out of their home and all took all the money out of their account. So apparently the grandson came there, made it seem like he was there to help them, was there for a while, ended up having them sign a document. They didn't know what it is, but they're like, that's my grandson, we trust him. They signed a quick claim deed, gave him the property. They didn't even know it. He sold the property from under them and stole money out of their account. Hi, Ronnie. Thanks for joining. And so she was like, are you serious? I'm like, this is a real story. You can look it up on the news. And they tried to contact the grandson afterwards. Nothing. They couldn't even reach him. Number went nowhere. And the people who bought their home from the grandson told them that they would sell them the property back for double what they bought it. They had no money. So she was like, wow. I was like, yeah. And then I explained to her there was another story where I did an online notarization for a man, and he was taking his other family members off of his trust and only leaving on one person. And he was explaining to me that it was sad. Yeah, Stephanie. Yeah, Stephanie remembers that story. I was explaining to her that he was sad because he didn't think it would ever come to this. He was like the family was just acting, funny about something. And then we were talking a little bit more because the son, he had to update some things that we were supposed to be signing. So we were just chit chatting. And so she was like, wow, like, so you really do more than what I thought notaries do. And I'm like, yeah, we do. You know, even though it's online, I have to make sure that this person understands what's going on, making sure that they're with it, you know, clear mind, mental and all that stuff. So after the signing, I leave, you know, and so I'm driving and I get a phone call. And the phone call is from an attorney, and he's calling to ask me about a notary session that I did for a signer, and that he said the date. And so I'm like, okay, I don't remember who it is, but okay. And so he's like, do you know that you cannot take an oath for a person that's not, with you, like in your presence? And I'm like, yes, I know that. And he was like, so my signer was in this state and you're in Florida and you took their oath. And I'm like, so was this signing done online? And he was like, yes. I said, okay, well, in Florida, I can, no, I said, in Florida, if he was online, he was in my presence. So therefore, I could take his oath. And he's like, that is not true. That is not Florida law. You cannot take an oath for a person who is not in your presence. Was he in your presence? I said, no, he was. Okay, that's all I need to know. I'm like, he was in my presence online. And so he further continues on to say, well, um, do you know that I can call the state, I can file a complaint on you, and that, I can file a subpoena for you to appear in court and you can be in some big trouble. And I'm like, well, according to my Florida state statutes for notaries, I am able to perform some of the same notary acts that I do in person online, except for a few. And taking acknowledgments and administering oaths are acts that I can perform online as a Florida notary as long as I am in the state of Florida at the time that it's done. And he's like, that is not true. And I'm like, yes, it is. And he's like, and what statute is this? I said, well, unfortunately, I'm driving right now, so I can't recite the statute to you, but it is in our notary statutes for Florida. And he was like, well, I'm very rarely wrong, but I am going to look into this and do my own research. And if I am wrong, I will tell you, I will be the one one of the few to admit when I'm wrong and, other stuff. And I'm just listening because I'm driving. So it's like, it's nothing I can do at this point but tell you what I know. And so he says that he will do his research and he will give me a call back. And I said, okay. So I'm nervous at this point because I'm like, what the hell, right? I'm trying to call my friend so that she can look up the statute so that I can call him back and give him the statute. And so she's not answering because she's busy. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I'm just gonna go home. I'm like, when I get home, I'll call him back. I got his name and number on my caller ID. So I'm about halfway home at this point, and he calls me back. And so I answer, and he says, so first off, I want to apologize to you because you were correct. I did look, and there is a notary statute for Florida notaries. He was like, it's not really 100% clear, but it does say here exactly what you told me. So I do apologize for that. And I said, okay. And so he was telling me that, you know, the case that came across his desk is for a man who had signed a trust online with me. And his sons are fighting because the son is saying that um, he wasn't in his right mind when he took everyone off of his trust or whatever. And so I was like, it's so funny that you mentioned that because I was just talking to my signer today, the one I'm leaving, that's where I'm driving from right now. I was telling her about a notarization that I did online for a man, and he was removing all his family off of the trust and only leaving on one person because some things were, people weren't agreeing. And then he was like, that's my client. I said, are you serious? And he was like, yes, that's my client who you just described. And I'm like, wow, I remember that like it was yesterday because there are going to be some notarizations that you do that you're just going to remember just because of some of the things that happen. And because I'm a storyteller and I'm always sharing my experiences, that is one that I reference. I have referenced the most. And I did this notarization in December. Yes, Stephanie, I agree. And so I continued on to tell him the whole how the whole thing went. I'm like, the son had drew up the documents and there were some typos. So he ended up having to amend the document like 3 times while we were on session. So in the meantime, me being a talker, me and the dad are having general conversation. He's telling me about the weather, where he is currently, that he had lost a spouse not too long ago, that the children were going back and forth and kind of were, beefing, you know what I'm saying? And he was just like, it's funny that you explain all of that to me because in you telling me this, it means that my client was in his right mind because you don't even know him and you're telling me a lot of the information that I know about them and you're a total stranger. And I'm like, yeah, I surprisingly remember that session. And he was just like, well, I'm glad that I talked to you and that I got a chance to hear from you that he actually was in his right mind and he knew what he was doing. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, and as a Florida notary, we have to retain recordings for 10 years. And he was like, oh, you have a recording? I said, yes, I do. And so if you would like the recording, just, give me a written request and I'll be happy to provide that to you, whatever you need. And he was like, thank you so much. Yeah, pretty much, Stephanie. Um, he was like, thank you. He was like, I will be in touch. He was like, but if for some reason I do have to, you know, request records or anything from you, would you be? I said, absolutely, I'll cooperate, because I know that I didn't do anything wrong. Um, I, did my consent. I administered an oath to him because there were some statements on the documents that were jurats and so forth. And, the platform that I performed the notarization on, I did contact them and let them know that this was happening. Of course, it has nothing to do with them because it's my notary, that's on the line. If there was anything to happen, which nothing will happen, but nothing bad will happen anyway. But they would contact me and need my information and my journal records and my recording and so forth. But just in case, if he brings up the platform, I want the platform to be aware that this is happening. So they thank me for that. So, anybody have any questions about that phone call? It was a scary call for me because I mean, even though I know for the most part I do my job the way it's supposed to be done. I wouldn't be doing myself a great service if I'm educating y'all. I'm an approved educator for Florida and I'm not doing it right, right? So thank you, Swanis. I want to continue on with that and telling you guys, do not skip learning your statutes. Okay? Whatever your state guidelines are, you need to know them like the back of your hand. Okay. Now, I wasn't able to give that attorney a specific statute, but I know my state statute. I know what I can do, I know what I can't do. Okay. And if you don't know that like the back of your hand, you are not doing yourself a good service. Okay. In being a notary public to the community. If that ever happens to me, I'm calling Stephanie. Totally agree. Yeah, man, you guys, what I get so scared when I hear notaries say, that's just too much. I'm not reading all that. What? You better take out the time and read it in chunks. You better read your statutes because let me tell you, now, this is the second time in 5 years that I have had contact with an attorney questioning a notarization. All right. So the first time that oh wait, hold on. Joy Best, good evening from Pinellas County. Hi. I've been a commissioner in Florida notary 16 plus years. I really enjoy your content. The detail you provide is invaluable. Thank you, Joy. I appreciate that. Cass, read and reread. Absolutely. Because everything that you read, you may not have to put into motion. But when you do need to, you just need to make sure that you're referencing your state's statutes immediately. Yes, create a reading plan of statute, read it over and over. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what you got to do. And what I always tell y'all, keep a primer in your bag. Now, I could have pulled over and pulled out my primer. I could have, but I wasn't doing that because what he was telling me I knew was incorrect. I know that I could take acknowledgments and administer oaths online and in person as a notary public in the state of Florida. I know that as long as I am in the state of Florida, I can perform my duties as a notary public. So my signer can be anywhere in the world, but I have to be here in Florida. And you gotta know what you can and can't do. And you know what's another thing, guys? We have to be administering those oaths with these jurats. Okay, they're not playing about that. If you do not administer an oath when you have a jurat, that notarization can be null and void. All right, because all of the acts were not performed for it to be valid. And it will be your signer that will tell you, I don't remember. So you have to, and I'm not good with this, but you have to remember to put it somewhere. If you're writing it in your notes, I know that what is the name of that journal? Integrity Notary Journal. He has in his journal where if it's a jurat, the signer has to initial that you administer the oath, which I think is pretty cool. That's not in my notary journals. I think that you probably should write it in the notes. But I just think that's good to remind you that you need to administer the oath. And having the signer initial that you administer the oath can cover your, you know what. Okay. So we have to remember that. With the trust document, I'm sure that it had it. I'm sure that I administered the oath for a jurat, but whew, it was scary. And it's so funny because I had to pee like really bad. And after I got off the phone with that guy, I didn't have to pee no more. He's scared to pee away from me. I have to pee no more. But when I got home, I used the bathroom after me and him talked. And, because when he first called me, he was pretty aggressive, because that's what attorneys do. But after he found out that I was telling the truth and that I knew my stuff, he was a little bit more easy to talk to. And we talked and we laughed. And, so I was just like, Lord have mercy. So I wanted to share this story with you guys because I need for you guys to take, I mean, I tell you this all the time, but you guys got to take what you do serious. Okay. Yes, I know everybody wants to make money. I get it. But being a notary public is not a game. Okay, we have a very important role that we play in the community. And anything that you, like the guy was telling me, he was like, if I find out that you are not being truthful with me, you could cost these people millions of dollars. And I'm like, okay. I'm just like, I can't do anything, about it. I'm driving, but that's all I'm saying. Like, I'm driving. I can't even look into this. I can't even think about it. I got to focus on the road, so I'm just happy that I know what I'm doing and I did everything I was supposed to do. And I need for you guys, if you're not, or if you are one of those people who like to take shortcuts, I would strongly advise against this. Okay, do not take shortcuts in learning your rules and regulations of your state. Know your state handbook for notary. Know it. Okay, be able to recite it. You may not be able to remember the chapters in each section. I know our chapter is 117, but the little sections in it, I couldn't recite that to you. I can't. I just know it's chapter 117. All right. Now, I wanted to share with you guys um, about the fiasco with Mortgage Connect. Okay, so a lot of us notary educators have been talking about it, and I wanted to make sure that I shared it with you guys. So let me pull up my email here. Well, let me go ahead and share my screen, and then I'm going to pull up the email to show it to you, and then we're going to talk about it. Oh, wait, I got to do entire screen because it's going to pop up. All right. All right, so let's type in here, Mortgage Connect. All right, oh gosh. I got a lot of emails for them to see. All right, this is one of them. But the first one, where was the first one? This one. No, it wasn't that one. Mortgage Connect. It said it requires something. Oh, here it is. All right, guys. So this email that Mortgage Connect sent out to everyone was basically saying that they wanted all the notaries to sign a document that will allow Mortgage Connect to make updates to our documents outside of the acknowledgments. The notification will be sent to all notaries advising that a change was made based on this document rather than contacting you for permission. All right. And then an example of the document is attached here. So this is the document that they were going to have us sign. Okay. It says the undersigned signing agent or agents for and in consideration of the above referenced lender funding the closing of this loan agrees, if requested by the lender or closing agent for the lender, to fully cooperate and adjust for clerical errors. Any or all loan closing documentation, if deemed necessary or desirable in the reasonable discretion of the lender or closing agent. The undersigned signing agent or agents agree to comply with all above noted requests by the above referenced lender, closing agent within 30 days from the date of mailing of said request. Signing agent or agents agree to assume all costs, including by way of illustration and not limitation, actual expenses, legal fees, and marketing losses for failing to comply with corrections requests in the above noted time period. The undersigned signing agent or agents further grant Mortgage Connect as the settlement agent or their designee and or lender name as lender authorization to correct all minor typographical or clerical errors, including initials and or dates discovered in any or all of the closing documentation required to be completed by the undersigned as settlement. In the event this agreement is exercised, the undersigned will be notified, and if requested by a lender or borrower, will receive a copy of the document corrected on their behalf. This agreement may not be used to modify any terms of the loan and/or security instrument. This agreement shall automatically terminate 180 days from the date of recording of the undersigned's mortgage loan. So first, I want to know what y'all think about that. When you first got this email, what were you thinking? It was like, wait, what? So let me tell you what I was thinking. Oh, wait, let's see. Casey said, right. Joy said, that's a hard no. Same thing I was thinking. Casey says, when I received that, I was like, well, I won't work with them anymore because I was not going to sign that. So, and what you're feeling is absolutely right. I felt the same way. So, um, obviously, somebody had contacted them because after they sent this, they also rescinded it. I understand typos, etc. However, not signer name, initials, or dates. Right. So first of all, nobody can make corrections to our notary block but us. Okay. So we cannot sign giving them permission to make corrections in our notary block. If we made errors in that notary block, then it just has to be done again. And we have to assume the cost for our errors. Now, if it is other documents that the signers had to sign, then the signer has already signed a document saying that they're giving them the limited power of attorney to correct typographical and clerical errors, right? But we can't give them permission to do that. That's just not um, within our state guidelines to do so. Ronnie said, I was thinking that they were receiving a lot of errors. However, I didn't and wasn't going to execute it. Exactly. I mean, I get it if they're, receiving errors that will delay the closing, but that's on the notary. If the notary made errors on their notary block, that's on them. Yeah, that's why they sent the notice, Stephanie, because there were a lot of notaries making errors in their notary block. Okay, because like I said, the signers are already signing the errors and omissions document. So Joy says, right, that's a redraw and resign if there are changes needed in the notarial block. Exactly. And like I said, that's on the notary. And if the notary's fee is going to be reduced because of it, that is on the notary. This is why when we are signing documents, we are to review them twice, 3, 4 times if you have to make sure everything is filled out the correct way. So next, they sent another email. Let me share my screen for that. I'm happy that they did so because there were going to be a lot of notaries that were not going to sign that, and they now know. So here's their rescission of request for compliance agreement. Please be advised that Mortgage Connect rescinds the earlier notification and request for a signing agent compliance agreement. Please disregard the communication. We apologize for any confusion on our part, which is good. So none of us have to write them off and not work with them anymore. But I think it was optional for us to sign that. It didn't say anywhere in that document that we were required to sign it or they wouldn't work with us anymore. So I just think it was something optional, and absolutely every notary should have said no. Okay. Anybody have any questions about this Mortgage Connect fiasco? Sounds like they finally consulted with legal. It was something, or I think one of the notary educators contacted them and was like, yeah, that's not, maybe even the NNA. Somebody contacted them and told them that we couldn't do that. All right. So I wanted to give you guys some best practice tips, all right, for running a smooth small business. Okay, so staying calm and professional in unexpected situations. I have heard many notaries, they do not like to be corrected, okay? And it's okay. It's okay to be corrected. If you made a mistake, you need to own it, okay? Because we are human and we make mistakes. But handling it in an unprofessional manner is not the way to go because one, you get put on that blacklist, and we all cannot afford to be that, okay? Now, if the person is rude to you, you still have to remain calm and you still have to remain professional, okay? It doesn't mean that you're being, weak or, a pushover. All it means is that you have a business to run and you are a reflection of your business. So if you're out here not being professional, and you popping off every time somebody say something to you that you feel, how dare they correct me? I've been a notary for so many years. It don't matter how long you've been a notary. You've been human longer, probably, right? Okay. So you are prone to make mistakes. I've been a notary for 5 years. I make mistakes. Okay, and it's okay. But at no time is it acceptable for you to be unprofessional about it. All right, own the mistake, correct it, and move on. Okay, if it means a reduction in your fee, so be it. Because yeah, you messed up. You're not going to get paid the full fee if you messed up. Okay, or if you got to come out of pocket. I had it where I forgot to put a venue correction on a deed, and I had to pay $30 to send that back out of my own pocket. I made the mistake. I had to, because a deed is a big deal. It has to be recorded with the county, right? So you cannot make mistakes on that. So be accountable. Mental note, be careful. Double, triple, quadruple check your work. Make sure you're not out here making mistakes, okay? That's my best practice tip for that. The importance of knowing your state, your notary laws and statutes. We already kind of talked about that. Super important because there you may be contacted by an attorney. And like I said, when the guy first called me, he was mad aggressive. He was kind of mean, but that's their job. Okay, as an attorney, their job is to make sure that you are the bad guy and they win their case. So if you are following the rules and regs in your state, you shouldn't have no issues. All right, let me click these here. Exactly, accountability. Swan is some lessons can cost you, but you must take responsibility for your actions. Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. Keeping thorough and organized records, such as your session recordings and documentation. Super important. There are some RON platforms that you will work on where you have to manually input information into the journal. It doesn't just record every little thing. Like if there's anything in particular that you want to say about the session, um, some of them don't have it where it automatically records the type of notarization, which is Blue Notary is one of them. I freaking hate that because I always forget to edit it. So the majority of my online sessions say acknowledgement, and they should say acknowledgement in Jurat, but they don't have it where you can edit your journal outside the session. When you're in session, that's the only time you have access to your journal. Pectima, I'm able to, after my session is complete, I'm able to go into my journal and put in any information that I need to put in. And I really like that. So all of my journal records are accurate as far as the notarization type goes for that. But for Blue Notary, that's something that I hope that they will change so that I'm able to go in there and make the necessary adjustments for the journal only. Okay. Um, if you are doing in-person notary, guys, make sure you are keeping accurate notes. Okay, because um, Unlike me, you may not remember a signing that you did a month ago. I just did that in December, okay? A little over a month ago. And I remembered it very vividly because I shared that story with a lot of people. I don't remember the names. Obviously, I wouldn't share the names, but I remember exactly what happened. And that's the important part. But will you remember that for every notary that you do? Probably not. So you need to be making sure that you are keeping a notary journal, even if your state doesn't require it. Make sure you get a journal that will allow you to add notes, and make sure that you are keeping everything chronological in order. Okay. Next, effective communication skills. I can't tell you guys how much that matters. It is such a pet peeve of mine, of course. I'm sure it's a pet peeve of a lot of people's, but communication is important. When you are working with companies and you are servicing their customers, you need to let them know what's going on at all times. If the signer has a question, if the signing location is changing, if the signing time needs to change, if the documents are not complete, you need to be communicating these things to them. If you have a question, in Florida, the deeds that convey any type of property require witnesses, but the mortgage does not require to be witnessed. But some lenders want the mortgage to be witnessed. So whenever I see there's a mortgage, I'm always calling and I'm asking, do you guys want the mortgage to be witnessed? And sometimes they'll get an attitude. Well, in Florida, it's not required. I understand that, but there are some lenders that do want the mortgage to be witnessed. So instead of me assuming and saying, well, in Florida, it's not required to be witnessed, I'm going to ask. I'm going to call and I'm going to ask because I don't want to send these documents and then now they don't want to close because we didn't have a witness on the mortgage and nobody told me they wanted a witness on the mortgage. So communication, super important. I also had one situation last week where I have a direct investor. Whenever he has a closing, he contacts me and he gives the title company my information. The title company reaches out, let me know, hey, so and so told me to reach out to you and send you the documents. We need this to be closed by XYZ. And it's like, okay. They send me documents, and the person never said more documents to come or to follow. So I'm thinking this is all. And I'm like, it's kind of skimpy for it to be purchased, but okay. So I go to my client and I have the document signed and I'm at FedEx. I scan the documents to them and I wait. Then I get an email saying, here are the lender documents. What? What do you mean, here are the lender documents? I thought this was it. I'm like, are there any other documents that you will be sending me? No, we had title documents earlier, but these are the lender documents. I'm like, all right, well, thank you. I'm going to head on back to see him. Luckily, the FedEx was right up the street, but that was my fault. You want to know why that was my fault? Because when they emailed me, I should have asked them when I saw that that package was a little skimpy for a purchase. I should have asked them, are there any more documents that will be following this email? And then that would have not allowed me to have to go back twice. So that was my fault. Also, I have to put a little bit of blame on them too because they should have said, we got more documents coming. So, stand by or whatever. But in any event, I could have saved me some gas if I would have just asked the question when I noticed. Joy says, I capture the IDs of witnesses and have them sign my journal. I've seen some notaries do not. Um, so we should not be keeping pictures of witnesses' IDs, but we should be writing the ID information in our journals if we are in a state that allows that. Let's see. Joy says, I capture the IDs of any witnesses involved in my signings, whether loan, trust signings, or GMW. Yes, that's correct. You should be recording the witnesses' IDs in your journal, but we should not be taking any pictures of witnesses' IDs. Usually, when I do signings and they ask for IDs, they just want the signer's ID scan, not the witnesses. but I still put the witnesses' information in my journal and I do have them sign. It's okay, Joy. I knew what you were saying. Yes, so no pictures of IDs. Okay. But yes, record their ID information and their addresses in your journal with their names and have them sign. Yes, that is a best practice. All signers need to sign the journal. All signers need to be, you know, having their information in your journal. Because what if they come back and ask you, well, who were the witnesses? I don't know. Well, did you put it in your journal? No, they're not the signers. They did sign. They're not the signers, but they did sign. Everybody who you witness signatures needs to sign that journal, period. You're welcome, Joy. All right, let me see here. I'm doing good. I'm following my outline because y'all know I can be all over the place. All right, let's see. Continuous learning to stay updated with notary laws and business management. Yes, guys, please keep continuing to make sure that you are learning everything there is to know about your state statutes and being a notary. Okay, practice makes perfect. Even when you see those annoying notary meetups that I see all the time, attend some of them. Okay, you don't have to attend all of them, but attend some of them, because some of them are going over step by step how to notarize documents, how to check for errors in documents, how to um, walk your signers through how to make sure that they complete the documents the way that they're supposed to be completed. Okay, and I say the meetups are annoying because you have some people, they just have the meetups to make extra money because they're not making the money in their notary business. And I know people like that. And so I say, I'm not going to say not attend them, but attend some of them because some of them are really good. You get a chance to connect with other notaries. You guys can refer people to each other, and then learning different best practices and sharing experiences with different notaries. That's a really good thing to do. Okay, competition or not, we are all doing the same thing. And I may have some experiences that you haven't, you may have some experiences that I haven't, and it's nice to know and learn from each other. Okay, but you have some people who they have meetups every month, and it's kind of like overkill, and you just kind of know what their motives are. So I would just be cautious of that, but absolutely attend those learning events, and don't be afraid to attend learning events that are not notary related either, because I like to attend those too because I can sometimes compare it to what I'm doing and just adapt it to notary, you know. Do you guys have any questions about my best practice and tips for running a smooth business? No? Well, that was all I had for you guys tonight. That was quick. I end up getting done before an hour today. Cass asked, yes, I do. I do use Notarize. Sometimes my clients request for me to use certain platforms, and Notarize is one of them. Did you have some questions about Notarize? Thank you, Stephanie. You guys are the best. I wouldn't be the best without you guys. Because not only do I teach you guys, but I learn from you as well. I'm just seeing if Cass has any questions about Notarize, the platform. I don't like to use them all the time for my clients because they are not the most affordable in my mind. Um, you know, sometimes I do 6 signings in a day online, and for any session that I do, it costs me $28 because they charge you per person and per stamp. And so if I got to pay $28 for 6 sessions, $28 each session, that's costly. And I'm doing that every day for Monday through Friday. I can't afford that. So it's not a platform that I love to use, but it is a nice platform to use, I will say. You should sign up with them. Absolutely, because you want to make sure that you have different platforms for different clients who request certain platforms to be used. Yes, because not everybody is going to want you to use one platform. So I've talked to people about this before. Be signed up with different platforms so that you can cater to everybody's individual request. Thank you, Michael. You're welcome, Cass. All right, guys. If you don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and drop off. I'm going to give me some rest because I am sleepy for some reason. Oh my God. It's so annoying. Hold on. So annoying being tired, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to go give me a nice hot shower and lay down. And I may not fall asleep right away, but I'm at least going to get into bed. But as always, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you found this video to be helpful, what do I always say? Share it with your other notary buds, all right? Because everybody wants some help in this industry. Okay, we all in here to win and make some money and do it the right way. You're welcome, Joy. Ronnie, when you operate a smooth business, you definitely get successful signings, even if you have to correct an error. Absolutely, Ronnie. You are right. You are very welcome, guys. You're welcome, Denise. Everybody have a good night, and I will see you again next Sunday. Have a wonderful week. Bye.